Good morning. Today I will read Genesis chapter 47. In chapter 46 we saw that Jacob and all his family moved in Egypt. And now let's read the chapter. 47. Joseph went and told Pharaoh, "My father and brothers with their flocks and herds and everything they own have come from the land of Canaan and are now in Goshen." He chose 5 of his brothers and presented them before Pharaoh. Maybe the best one looking, or I don't know. Pharaoh asked the brothers, "What is your occupation?" "Your servants are shepherds," they replied to Pharaoh, "just as our fathers were." They also said to him, "We have come to live here a while, because the famine is severe in Canaan, and your servants' flocks have no pasture. So now please let your servants settle in Goshen." Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Your father and your brothers have come to you, and the land of Egypt is before you. Settle your father and your brothers in the best part of the land. Let them live in Goshen, and if you know of any among them with special ability, put them in charge of my own livestock." Then Joseph brought his father Jacob in and presented him before Pharaoh. After Jacob blessed the Pharaoh, Pharaoh asked him, "How old are you?" And Jacob said to Pharaoh, "The years of my pilgrimage are 130. My years have been few and difficult, and they do not equal the years of the pilgrimage of my fathers." Then Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from his presence. Jacob blessed Pharaoh 2 times. In this, before Pharaoh asked him, "How old are you?" and after that too. So Joseph settled his father and his brothers in Egypt and gave them property in the best part of the land, the district of Ramses, as Pharaoh directed. Joseph also provided his father and his brothers and all his father's household with food according to the number of their children. And so we see that even if Joseph was in charge of all Egypt, he was no Pharaoh. Pharaoh was over him, and he needed approval from Pharaoh. There was no food, however, in the whole region because the famine was severe. Both Egypt and Canaan wasted away because of the famine. Joseph collected all the money that was to be found in Egypt and Canaan in payment for the grain they were buying, and he brought it to Pharaoh's palace. When the money of the people of Egypt and Canaan was gone, all Egypt came to Joseph and said, "Give us food. Why should we die before your eyes? Our money is used up." "Then bring your livestock," said Joseph. "I will sell you food in exchange for your livestock, since your money is gone." So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and he gave them food in exchange for their horses, their sheep and goats, their cattle and donkeys. And he brought them through that year with food in exchange for all their livestock. Joseph to administrate the whole country and make Pharaoh's rich. When that year was over, they came to him the following year and said, "We cannot hide from our Lord the fact that since our money is gone, that our livestock belongs to you. There is nothing left for our Lord except our bodies and our land. Why should we perish before your eyes? We and our land as well. Buy us and our land in exchange for food. And we, with our land, will be in bondage to Pharaoh. Whoa. And the famine, look what they did to people. Give us seed so that we may live and not die, and that the land may not become desolate. So Joseph bought all the land in Egypt for Pharaoh. Whoa. So we see that even if Pharaoh was over all the Egypt, he didn't had the property as his own, all the Egypt. So Joseph bought all the land in Egypt for Pharaoh. The Egyptians, one and all, sold their fields because the famine was too severe for them. The land became Pharaoh's, and Joseph reduced the people to servitude, from one end to Egypt to the other. However, he did not buy the land of the priests, because they received a regular allotment from Pharaoh and had food enough from the allotment Pharaoh gave them. That is why they did not sell their land. In our country, maybe, it's a bit interesting that churches have a special allotment too. That is why they did not sell their land. Joseph said to the people, "Now that I have bought you and your land today for Pharaoh, here is seed for you so you can plant the ground. But when the crop comes in, give a fifth of it to Pharaoh." Whoa. The other 4/5 you may keep as seed for the fields and as food for yourselves and your households and your children. You have saved our lives, they said. May we find favor in the eyes of our Lord. We will be in bondage to Pharaoh. He had lots of ideas, Joseph. He was an administrator. He had administration skills. Since he arrived at Potiphar house. So Joseph established it as a law concerning land in Egypt, still in force today, that a fifth of the produce belongs to Pharaoh. Wow, fifth. It's a big thing. I mean, 20%. Yeah, I think it's okay. It's not so. In Romania, we have more than 40% to the Pharaoh. Yeah. Okay. So Joseph established it as a law concerning land in Egypt. So, still in force today, that a fifth of the produce belongs to Pharaoh. It was only the land of the priests that did not become Pharaoh's. I don't know who wrote the Genesis, but it says that Moses. wrote it. And in the Moses days, that law was still in force. Now the Israelites settled in Egypt in the region of Goshen. They acquired property there and were fruitful and increased greatly in number. Well, God blessed them. And why God's plans are so interesting? I don't know why God's plans are so interesting. That with Abraham, even in few in numbers, with Isaac and even Jacob, they could start to conquer the people from the land, the promised land, but it didn't happen yet. Even if we saw that Abraham had some power to do that, not much. Of course, maybe, yeah, just his household and few 300 men and maybe more than 300 soldiers. And the land was with 1,000 and more. But God was with him. And Jacob, when Simon and Levi, they killed all that city, and just two men. Maybe they had some other men with them, but I don't know. As Abraham, he was helped to by the local ones. Mamre's sons or something like that. Okay. God worked here and blessed them. Until now, everything is good and it's best. It's the best. But what will happen? We will see in next chapters. If the things will be still the same, or we will see. Okay. May the God bless me and enlighten me in the next chapter too, and if God wants, you will see me there. God bless you all and goodbye.